Hi, I'm Ember Conley, your host for Political Peaks. I'm joined today with the mayor of Park City, Andy Beerman. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Amber. Good to see you.
You too. Definitely summer is here. You can feel it in the air. It's definitely warmer, but also lots of visitors in our sweet little town here in Park City. And just let's start out with, what are you seeing with your nightly rentals, and has there been an increase to sales tax that you see within your budget?
Yeah, we see things really ramping up. It seems like the down season passed quickly. We just got the sales tax numbers on April, and they were huge. It was a record April for Park City by a long shot. So certainly we stayed busy through the mud season. We got a little bit of a break in May, and we haven't seen those numbers yet, but it seems like we stayed relatively busy. And then June, I don't know what the numbers are, but anecdotally, it seems like it's rocking out there. You walk down Main Street right now, and there are lines out the door for the restaurants from about 4 o'clock till 9 o'clock at night, and a lot of people on the street. Traffic's certainly picking up. I think it's a mix of tourists and second homeowners and locals, and everybody seems to be on the rebound from COVID and wanting to get out and celebrate and eat out and shop.
Well, I would 100% agree. And I know that we have a very busy week coming up with our holiday week of celebrating our country with the 4th of July. What are some festivities that we have planned here in Park City?
Well, we are. So the 4th falls on a Sunday this year. And so most cities in Utah are either celebrating it on Saturday or Monday. Park City decided to celebrate it on Friday. And the thought was that we've heard a lot from our residents the last few years that 4th of July has grown too big and they can't get seats. It's an uncomfortable situation for them. They feel chased away as locals. So we decided to try something different this year and hold it on July 2nd, which is Friday at 11 a.m. And we're hoping the locals really come out and enjoy that. And then on Saturday, there will be a variety of activities around town. You can go to the city website to get the calendar on that. And then on Sunday, we're going to have car-free Main Street, the Silly Market back on the street. And then there's also an event for those that want to get their sort of patriotic spirit on. The police have a memorial they do every 4th of July. There was an officer, Rodney Schurz, who was killed about 30 years ago on the 4th, was hit by a car. And each year they hold a memorial. This year they're going to do it at the bottom of Main Street in the Rodney Schurz Park. And we are encouraging residents to come out and show them some love. It's been a heck of a year for our public safety folks. And we hope that some of the residents will come out and cheer them on and then attend the memorial and show some support.
I think that's an important topic. After speaking, of course, with Tom Fisher, our Summit County manager, and we're hearing it also within the Park City Police Department, that we're having a real shortage being able to get police officers and also dispatchers. It definitely seems to be an area that across the country really struggles to get qualified individuals to do those very difficult jobs. So thank you for that celebration. That'll be a great way to honor our public servants.
Yeah, and I really just want to encourage our residents to come out. It's going to be at 11 o'clock. I think they're going to do a walk down Main Street. There should be bagpipes, and then we'll meet at the park. There will be an honor guard. There will be a few remarks, probably by myself, the city manager, and the chief, and maybe one or two of the officers. And sometimes the family shows up for it. But it's a nice event, and it's a good chance for everybody to say thank you.
Great. Definitely we'll put that on our calendar. And as we talk about calendar, of course, the Arts and Culture District has been on your agenda for months now. What are some developments in that area?
Well, we haven't moved very far in terms of planning. I think council is going to start digging back into that soon in terms of next steps with our partners and community engagement. We've really been revolving around the budget and trying to get it on a budget that everybody's comfortable with. And I think council's feeling more comfortable with the budget. So we're going to continue those conversations. But we've got something fairly exciting going this summer. We're going to the demolition is done out there. The space is cleaned down, and most of it has concrete over it. There's also some nice areas with trees and grass, and then there are a few areas where the the soils have been penetrated because there was a basement that was removed. And I believe yesterday they just capped that and put visqueen over it. So our plan is to create a big central park for Park City, an area that is going to be lightly programmed, maybe something along the lines of what we do with Car-Free Sundays on Main, where we'll have music out there, we'll have kids activities, we'll hopefully have some public art, some benches, we're putting in bathrooms. There's going to be lots of parking there, and we're hoping the community starts coming and using the space, and maybe is starting to re-envision that space as something more than a place where you store things or pick up tools. And I think there will definitely be an art theme, but more than anything, we just want a community gathering space.
Well, and I think you really hit it just with COVID and coming out of the pandemic and our vaccination rates going up. There is definitely a desire to be together, to fill our community again and embrace our new residents. There's so many new residents that we haven't yet met and been part of the community. So you talked a little bit, you said the soil's been capped. And so that's also been a topic around soil repositories. And I know that you had an initial plan, then you received lots of feedback. We had an interview with council member and staff earlier this month. What are some of the developments of your public hearings and your public input?
Well, I think at this point, it's a two-part thing. That from the city standpoint, we're trying to engage and educate the public as to what council is trying to accomplish with this project and what the actual elements are of it, what the risks are, how it'll be mitigated. But we're also there to listen. There's a lot of public concern. We want to hear that concern. We want to address it. And ultimately, this is something where the council was trying to take a situation that we inherited. Those soils on Gordo were left there about 10 years ago when the repository got suddenly closed, actually 11 years ago, and they were supposed to be temporary. And we've been working ever since with the EPA and the DEQ and various partners trying to find a permanent home. We've recently sort of gotten tired of having those conversations, which are just going in circles, and thought maybe it makes sense to build a soils repository right there. And just to be very clear, what the city council was interested in doing was doing a double line soils repository above the watershed that was, meaning outside of the watershed. And it was for mine compromised soils only, which means we wouldn't be taking anything there that would be classified as toxic or hazardous. It's what we call Bevel exempt soils, which are generally high volume, low toxicity. And so this is something that's very stable and easy to work with. The thought was that we needed an economic place to store those soils and a way to do it safely. So that's what council proposed. Certainly there has been a lot of pushback, a lot of concern, and frankly, a lot of misinformation out there. So we're in the middle of engaging the community. We took a 60-day pause to have those conversations, and then we're going to circle back and check in as a council. But my read right now is more conversations need to happen. There's still concern and frustration and some confusion. And a lot of good questions coming from the public right now. And until we can answer those and get a higher level of comfort, I don't think we need to choose a direction.
It is a very complicated subject. I know, this isn't, I think so many people think it's a one and done, right? Like, let's make the decision, let's move forward. And This has been years in coming and trying to come up with solutions. And especially as we evolve and grow, it's definitely something that I know the conversations and discussions are appreciated, and especially there is a website available as well on the city. Do you recall that website?
Yeah, it's engageparkcity.org. And
Okay.
It's great. It's got we tend to put any master plan developments or issues that are of controversy or interest in the community up there. And it's got extensive information talking about the proposal for the repository, showing all the testing that's been done on the soils in the Arts and Culture District, and trying, as we get questions, we try to post them up there on the FAQs. And really, the hope is just that people can self-educate on these things, dig through, and then determine what other questions they have so they can bring those to us.
It is very helpful, and that website is very well done, and the FAQs are absolutely outstanding. And like, again, it's a very complicated issue that as a council you're going to have to continue to tackle. One of the things as we talk about topics within the city, I know that as COVID hit, there was some staff members that their positions were put on hold or that you didn't fill those positions. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic, we're starting to see an increase to the budget. Are there staff positions that you're starting to open up within the city?
Yeah, and in March of last year, the city manager and I decided very quickly to put us in the full recession plan. We have several stages, and I think we went to the third of 4 stages, which meant no new hires, not replacing any positions, but essential positions, freeze on bonuses and increases and such. And then, we put off a lot of purchases and various things. And I think it was the right move. We ended up getting through the pandemic solidly. After a few bad months, sales tax revenues started coming back in. And we ended up in a great shape. We didn't have to dig into our emergency reserves at all to weather it. But now we're at the point where things are ramping up quickly, and we need employees. What gets things done at the city are people that fix potholes, sweep the streets, patrol our neighborhoods, approve permits. I mean, it's very labor intensive. And so at this point, we are hiring for some new positions. 2 that I'm particularly excited about is we're going to be hiring for our communications department. We're going to add to that so we can do more public outreach, and we're also increasing our transportation planning staff. So those are 2 things that we have going, and then we also have delayed any raises or increases for several years, and yet we have an economy that's booming and wages are going up very quickly in other sectors, and we're starting to lose some employees over that. So council approved actually some raises that were recommended 2 years ago. Council recently approved, so we're going to see a bump for many of our employees at the city to make them more competitive with equivalent positions elsewhere.
That's good news, just because not only is housing difficult to have here in Park City, but as we look across the board, anywhere from your utilities, of course, to your groceries, we've seen an increase. And I think, it's an important topic that as you and the council work together, that we can really value our employees that love and breathe and stay here in Park City. Andy, it's been a joy to see you and excited to run into you on the street of our festivities this week. And again, thank you for your leadership.
Thanks, Ember. You have a wonderful July 4th, and I hope to see you out and about.
We will. I'm Ember Conley, your host for Political Peaks. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Park City TV and over the air on channels 17, 36, and 102.